From a perfect game to a World Series one pitch from victory. From a Wildcat High School dynasty to the golden days of the Browns, Barons, and Crunch, this book will change the way the entire sports nation looks at Cleveland.
Cleveland, you will have an October to remember.
Cleveland's Finest by Vince McKee is this year's must-have book for every Cleveland sports fan. Available now at Amazon.com. Get your copy today. Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck, home of the low price tire guarantee. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
I'll roll with it, man. That wasn't what I meant to put in there, but I'll roll with it. Welcome into the sport. Hey, pay the cost to be the boss. Little BB King there to get us back. I'm with it. Welcome back in to the Sports Fix across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you here as we roll on now. Let's pick things up a notch here. My man, the BSK Kendall Lewis, getting ready to join us for the first official time here as we head into the football season, and the Browns have appeared to got their ship at least headed towards their regular season direction. I'm going to see what Kendall thinks about that direction and where things are at. And, of course, I want to hear from you, too. You can't get in on the phones. You can hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, and email, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix, CLE, and email us at thesportsfix@AOL.com. That's not even right, Bruce. Bruce in the chat room says we're playing the blues in honor of Brown season. Come on, man. You can't do that in the preseason. You gotta at least let it end up there first. Come on, man. We can't go right into that, Bruce. All right, I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna go to the phone lines. My man, the BSK Kendall Lewis on the lines. Kendall, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right, guys. How are you?
Fantastic. Glad to have you here with us, and glad to have some football, almost anyways, to talk about. But the Browns, as I said, whether some people agree with it or not, have at least appeared to start to set their direction here towards Pittsburgh in the beginning of the season. I'm just going to throw it at you, man. The Browns, you've seen what we've all seen. Where are you at right now with this team?
Well, there's some things I like. I think I like the offensive line. I think I like the general direction of the franchise. I think I like a couple of pieces that they have, but I think the off-season excitement with the draft and, new leadership and things seemingly run the correct way kind of took us in a place where, we got a little too excited because this team on the football field has a way to go. I think the pass rush could be better. There are defensive tackle types at right end, 300-pounders, no speed off the edge. And as you know, unless the quarterback is left-handed, the right side is the quarterback's blind spot. And so I'd like to have some speedy killers on that side. There are none present. If they are, they haven't shown themselves to this point. The left side is just a little bit better. All the speed is concentrated over there. The interior, they seem to be running the wrong defense, but I have to see it against the first-team offense for a prolonged period of time to see it. Because as long as they keep Phil Taylor, Desmond Bryant, and Topper Rubin, that seems to me to say run a traditional 4-3, putting Kruger on the left end or Bryant on the left end with Kruger as a pass rusher on the right with Barkevius Mingo. That gives you speed, power, run-stopping ability, all of that, no running up the middle. Now, I will say that this defense looks to be a defense which is going to stop the run. That's great. But I think in order to take the next step as a franchise in play, in competition, they're going to have to rush the passer. They're going to have to get after the passer like no Browns team that we've seen has gotten after the passer. So there are some things I like, but there are some things I'm disappointed in thus far, but it's early still. Season hasn't even started. And can we please tamp down the unabashed love and devotion for Johnny Manziel. My general opinion is he can't play in the NFL. I don't think he's what the doctor ordered. I want a big, tall, stand-in-the-pocket quarterback who understands the game of football, its dynamics, and how his team can best utilize his skills as a pocket passer, not a run-around passer. Because one of the things that people saw at Texas A&M with Manziel was the fact that he made a lot of plays with his feet. He made a lot of plays with his daring. He made a lot of plays with just that heart and desire of the game of football. All that's well and good. But if you can't stand in the pocket and deliver the ball accurately and on time, you can't play in the NFL at quarterback. So I would, really rather not have to talk about him at every turn, everywhere I go, in all kinds of correspondences. It's Johnny Manziel, and Johnny Manziel can't play. And I don't believe he'll be the quarterback for this team when they finally come to fruition. Now, it's just my opinion. I don't intend it to be definitive, but I think I have a track record of calling it like it is, and I believe that's what I see when I see him. Add it all together, and I would say the over-under of Browns wins, 6 would be optimistic, but it's not out of the question. 7, same thing. Anything other than that, I think will be a very, very good but unexpected year.
You know what? I'm really with you on a lot of that. Like with Manziel, and I don't want to talk much about it either. I told people, take Hoyer out of the equation. I said the reason Manziel is not where you want him to be is because that's not where he should be. I mean, if you can't, and you know what? You're right, because I know there's still a lot of people that don't see it, though. You're right, because we get people that go, yeah, people are wrong, Manziel, but a lot of the Manziel people, I think, came to reality. Once they separate Hoyer, you take anybody else out of the equation and you just look at him and you go, he's not ready to play in the NFL. There's no way you can trot him out there and say that you're feasibly trying to do anything there. And I think a lot of people have started to come to that. But, I agree with you. It was crazy. I mean, that kind of answered it, regardless of what Hoyer did. That kind of answered the question for itself, that you couldn't put him out there just yet. And he knows that. And he even, I will say, he even got into some things that people haven't talked about in this narrative, and that he doesn't even know yet. We're talking about preseason stuff, how to begin to prepare week to week for individual opponents, and all of this, the additional learning and teaching that goes along with that he hasn't even touched yet. So I'm with you on that. I mean, but I think people that put the two quarterbacks together, forget it. He answered his own questions on his own. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think I don't think it's about. I, like you, don't think it's about Brian Hoyer. I mean, that's a different matter, which we can delve into. But if you, as a professional quarterback, are not prepared, and by that I mean you don't know the playbook, you can't play, period. I don't care what your physical gifts are. You cannot play. It's not like running back or receiver or defensive tackle or corner even, where they can just say, sick 'em. Quarterback is the heartbeat of a football team. They have to have decorum. They have to have leadership. They have to have the intangible things. They have to have the tangible things. All of the things that a quarterback has to have, he needs it in great measure to be a good quarterback and a great leader. Johnny Manziel doesn't have that. Johnny Manziel thinks it's important to be out partying and good time Charlieing with every young woman of ill repute or whatever in the world, taking pictures, flashing the money sign. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about for a successful quarterback. The guys who are doing it well, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, all of them, every last one of them. There are no good time Charlie quarterbacks in the NFL. Not one. And certainly not one who wins, not one. But yet this kid thinks he can come in and do it differently. That's part of the dynamic of young people today. And I'm not talking down at young people at all, because I have one. But I am going to say it's a different air today, where guys, they strive to be different while not getting their knitting done. That's the bottom line. And so if you're a quarterback of an NFL team, you should not expect to say audibly to your fan base that, hey, I'm allowed to have a good time. I'm going to have a good time. No, you aren't. You're allowed to get your butt in the playbook and get to camp and be ready to compete from day one, regardless of who's there. So why am I getting all of this grief about Johnny Manziel? Johnny Manziel literally can't play, and he tells you that. So, no, I just believe that the Cleveland Browns, if we're waiting on Johnny Manziel to lead this football team, they are not in good hands, and they're going to have to address that situation. I'm not saying they got to get rid of him, but what I am saying is they need to teach this young guy quickly how to prepare to compete at an NFL level.
I had mentioned yesterday that, a lot of people, even the ones that are not Manziel fans, they say, okay, now we move on, we start getting ready. And I said kind of what you said at the end there. I said, okay, but you can't do that. Now, I've not been a Manziel supporter. I didn't want the Browns to draft him. I was open about that. But I'm like, if this is your guy for now, at least until he proves that he's not, you can't just say, well, okay, you're the backup, go sit there and get ready to back up. I said there should be somebody. Every day, your job is to work with that kid and get him a little bit better every single day. And if that's not also a part of the process, then you're never going to get anywhere with him. Am I right? I mean, somebody has to be hands-on with him daily in this process if you're going to get him up to speed.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think that if the Browns are going to make some type of leap forward, aside from their defense, they need steady, the baseline needs to be steady quarterback play. If they don't get that, they're not going to win many games, regardless of what the defense is on paper, because they're going to be worn out. I don't care how good their cornerbacks are. I don't care how good their safeties are. I don't care what parts they have in the front seven. They're not going to be good because they're going to be worn out, injured, off the field, and the second and third stringers are going to play. So now what? You're telling me that Johnny Manziel is going to play against Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and New Orleans to start the season. And I don't know how he's going to do that because he doesn't even know his playbook. Not talking about Brian Hoyer. I know this. Brian Hoyer started slowly last year, but he won games, did he not? So absolutely. I think the issue with Brian Hoyer is by this idiotic splitting of the time, all right? If the Browns in-house knew that Brian Hoyer was the guy, then what was all this pomp and circumstances, horse and pony show about to give Manziel a chance with the ones? I don't care what Manziel has. If Hoyer is the guy, then he's the guy. I'm not saying Hoyer is Tom Brady, by no means. But Hoyer, pre-injury, was starting to round into shape and was starting to look like an accurate on-time passer with a gyroscope in his head that let him know, here comes the rush, get rid of the ball safely and on target. That's all you need. Now, if you have Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, all those guys, that's good. That's real good. But if you don't, then Brian Sipe will do. If you don't, Bernie Kosar will do. Huh?
I agree. I said,
I'm just saying. So if everything is set, because really, to tell you the truth, I think we all agree that they've gotten better at running back. They've gotten better along the offensive line. They have gotten, minimally better at tight end. They've gotten better at receiver. They've gotten better at linebacker. They've gotten better in the secondary. But the only place that they need to upgrade drastically so, either be it by Hoyer playing himself back in the shape that we saw in